Here's the agenda of what we will be covering. Coming up, there we go. So we'll be talking about login and navigation, downloading documents and uploading documents. Um, Once the documents are up there, they have these things called properties that talks about who created it and who last changed it. We're also keeping a version history of all these documents. That means that every time you save a document, we're going to store the old version prior to your save in history. So we can always go back and if you need to restore that or take a look at it before the changes, we can do that as well. And we'll talk about navigating around, some limits that we have, and some alerts, how to get emails about what changes. All right, Andrew, I think I've stalled long enough. Will, all bad, all bad. But again, we've got a recording, and you can always give me a call or Dennis, and we can get you going too. All right. Okay. Well, good luck. So we'll go ahead and start this slideshow. There's just a few slides, and then we'll go right into a demo for this training. All right. So again, we kind of covered the agenda already. We'll talk about that. We'll just go down these bullets. My goal is to get this rolling in about 30 minutes, and we'll see. Ask questions at any time, and we'll try to adjust them right on the way there. Now you've already been sent a link, but let me know if you need me to send it again. This is the link that I want you guys to use: connect.doi.gov, NPS, portal teams, and then a bunch of acronyms that Dennis can fill you in on what those all mean. But that's the link to the site, and when you get there, you're going to be able to see a site that looks like this. You have only one folder to worry about, and then we've got some subfolders under there. But the site will include the folder, a calendar, and some contact information. And that's pretty much all you need to worry about. So what I'll go ahead and do is start covering the login process by clicking on this image I have, and we'll bring up a login screen, and I'll go ahead and log in with the test account that I have. And I've created a test account so that it will match a lot of what you guys see security wise, and we'll see how that works. All right, let me just make this a little bit smaller here. There we go. So when you go to that link, this is the login screen, and this is where I talked about the need for all the folks with NPS accounts to type NPS backslash and then your username. Now it's important to remember that a backslash is where the top of that slash goes towards the left, and not the forward slash where it's to the right. Sometimes that's the hardest part. And then whatever National Park Service name you have, you go ahead and type that right there, and then your current network username and password. That's the one that changes every 60 days. It's the one that you lock your screen with. Now for the Fish and Wildlife folks, that's FWS. You type that, and then so on for any other bureaus that are on that I missed. I'm going to log in as a partners account. A few of you have to create an account that starts with partners. So those are these. This is the domain that we use for everybody that gets in to these sites that is not a DOI, intern or has a DOI account. These are for typically, contractors, construction contract architects. We assign all kinds of folks this partners domain. And I know 2 or 3 of you have this one. So we'll type partners backslash and then whatever name is created for you. I've got a test account here. I'll go ahead and use that. Here's the password. And sorry about the 12-character password that we have to do. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I can just type and talk at the same time, but I'm working on that. There we go. There's your first look at the Transportation Scholars website, unless you've gone on and looked. It's okay if you have. Um, the key things we'll be working with is primarily documents. We do a lot more stuff with these SharePoint sites, but documents will be your focus on this one. The one folder that I talked about was right there in front of you. This is the 2013 Scholars ebook. And when you want to go navigate for documents, you're gonna have a couple choices about how you can get that done. If you're just quickly going to find a document, it's okay if you just click right on this link right here. It's a link that pops up, and if you click on it, you start browsing inside a kind of a small window on the page, and you can browse around. Just now we've got several folders. One called Monday, for instance, which I'm sure means a lot to you guys. And here's the resources. There's a lot of stuff in here, but as you see, as I browse around, you're kind of browsing around in a small window on the page. And then you can see eventually, as you click on the folders, you can see documents and things like that that are readily available. As you scroll around, you can look on the bottom and see that you're looking at the first 15 documents. So if you want to see the next 15 documents, you can click right here. And then you see more documents. The little icon here indicates that it's a PDF document. All right, so that's one way to browse and get to the screens. Now, what I'd recommend, though, because this is kind of a restricted way, and if you know right where you're going, that's kind of fine, but there's no reason to limit the work you're doing just to this small window. What I would say is to click on this term here called Shared Documents, and this is like the root folder for all these documents. And if you click here, what you'll see is that the document space takes up the whole screen, so you have a lot more space to work with to see these documents. For instance, instead of showing just 15 at a time, this page shows 30 at a time. So I highly recommend just clicking on Shared Documents as a starting point whenever you really want to work with documents. So here's your root folder. I'll go ahead and click on that, and now you can start to see more folders. You've got more space to work with. Certainly, I think it's a more productive way to work. And as we scroll down, it shows 30 at a time, so it doesn't have 2 pages at all. It all fits on one page, for instance, here. So that's a good way just to kind of navigate around and find the documents the way that we've been categorizing them. And we've got folders and things like that, and photos rather, folder for that, and past scholar final reports. In terms of what's in this content, that's something you could work with Dennis on. He'll probably give you some guidance on where things are located and where to upload things. I'll just kind of focus on how to work with them once they're in there. But that helps you kind of navigate through. So just to kind of back up and review what I just showed you, when you log into the site, you're going to start on this page. And what I've recommended that you do to work with documents is to just click right here and go right in there and work on that big screen. Now, before I leave this page entirely, let's cover a few things that are on here that might be helpful. One of those things is this team member list. Lots of people's names are on here with email and contact information. You guys will be on here as well, I believe, and so if you need to send someone a quick email, it's all right there. Below the Scholars document folder, we have a calendar of upcoming events. And doesn't look like you're really busy right now, but I am sure there's more events coming along. If they decide to get posted here, this will be a good place to check to see them. But that's all that's on the home page there. I'll go ahead now and click on the shared documents, and we'll get into the folders. And any questions on what I've covered so far in terms of getting to that main page, then getting to this root folder? Oh, okay. Well, cool. I'm sure that made sense to everybody but me in terms of that, so I apologize, Dennis. I'm sure everyone on the call knew exactly what Monday meant. All right, any other feedback? All right, good, good, good. So let's talk about what we're supposed to do next, which is how to download some documents and work with them. And there's a couple of ways to download documents, and they kind of vary in terms of what you're trying to do. But I'll show you my recommended way, and you can use what you'd like. Let's stick with this resources folder because I know there's a lot of documents there. I'll go ahead and click on this, and Here's a bunch of documents. We'll take this first one here and start to work with it a little bit. So whenever you want to work with the document, there's a couple things you can do to dig in and work with it. I am going to put a check mark right to the left of that document, right there. And when I do that, what you're going to see is a ribbon of buttons appear that has lots of neat options on it. I'll go ahead and click right now. And there we go. Now here's the ribbon of all the things we can do to it. I have read-only rights with this test account, so I may have to switch my rights to do an upload here, I noticed. But anyway, all the buttons that are available will be popping up right here. Now one of those buttons is download a copy. This is a pretty straightforward way just to download. You go ahead and click on the download a copy button after you've made the check mark, and then go ahead and save it. Most of the browsers you'll be using have that little save button there, so I could click on that and do a save as and save it anywhere I want on whatever PC that I have to work with, and then from there you can do lots of things with it. So that's a quick download approach right there. We also have, this is the ribbon approach up here, we also have a way to download it from this menu. And by this menu, when you mouse over this document name, this little triangle pointing down appears. And if you click on that, it's going to give you a menu of lots of different choices. Here's that version history I talked about, for instance. But what we're going to look at is this Send To feature. And we'll come back to this in a while when we talk about emails. But for now, I just wanted to show you the download a copy option. If you click that, it does the same thing that I just did with the download a copy button. So you've got a couple options there you can use. First of all, that I reviewed, putting a check mark by the file. And the second one was mousing over and selecting it there. So a couple ways to download a document there. So far so good. Looks pretty straightforward, I'm guessing. So let's go ahead and kind of a third way to work with the document is just to click on it, and it's going to bring the document up. Now, if you want to just look at the document as it is, I want to see what this new direction thing is. So let's go ahead and click on it. Sometimes you'll get a warning about, but I'm sure you guys ignore those things anyway. So all right, so here's a nice document. Looks like it's got 69 pages and all kinds of images and stuff. I'm tempted to read it all, but I'm going to resist that temptation and just say that once you have it located in your browser now, you're looking at it, then you're going to have all the normal browser things available to you for paging through. This is a PDF document, so all the PDF commands are working. And within PDF, typically when it first comes up, there's some buttons there that you can save the PDF and do things like that. So you have all that stuff available to you. But really quickly, if you just want to look at a document, just go ahead and left click on it and it'll pop up after you ignore that little message. Now different documents act differently in terms of an Office document versus a PDF. I don't see any Word documents here or Excel documents, but you might have different options that you can use when you work with one of those. But it'll all pretty much be the same thing. To view a document, left click on it and you're good to go. To download it, use one of those commands I just showed you and you can get it on your computer where you can work with it there. So any questions so far? All right. What I'm going to do is try to change my login information here. I just noticed that I don't have the rights to upload. And that's one thing to point out. There's a lot of security permissions in SharePoint, and we can make any file or folder read-only or uploadable. You've been given access to upload documents to here because part of the point is it's a place to capture what you guys are doing. So you guys will be able to upload. So I'm going to switch over to my other ID, and it doesn't hurt to do a little repetition in terms of how to log in. You can't get enough of that login practice. So here we go. We're going to log in this time using the National Park Service account that I have. And you guys can see what that looks like. There's a blue login screen, NPS /. All right, here's my extremely long, complicated password. that I'm trying to talk through. Let's see if that worked. And one thing you'll see when I log in is you'll see a bunch of other things on the web page. But we'll focus right on this shared documents again. All right, click right on that. Okay, and then the eScholars Notebook. You know, we have all the information up there from 2012, but we've hidden that just to reduce confusion. All right, so here we are again. And let's say I've discovered some, well, you guys will be doing reports and things like that. So you'll definitely be uploading to this folder. I'll go ahead and click in there. And let's get some information uploaded. So there's a couple ways to do that, as usual. And one is this little add a document button. Feel free to click that just to get an upload going up there, and we'll go ahead and do that now. I'll click add document, and the first thing it does is it says, well, this is step one of this process. So it says, well, where is the document that you'd like to upload? And it's on your machine somewhere. So I'll go ahead and click this browse button, and that will browse your computer to help locate a document on your laptop or desktop or whatever they've given you. I'll go ahead and I've got some big files I was working with there. This isn't too bad here. I love that one. So here's a document. In this case, it's a Word document. I'll go ahead and click the open button. And what that does is it puts that entire string in there. Now, because you were at the place where you wanted to upload, we put the right folder name in there for you, so you almost never need to change this folder. I wouldn't recommend it. And just that quickly, we're going to be uploading a file here. And away it goes. I probably shouldn't have picked one that was 2 megabytes. Smaller files are always faster. But there we go. We've got it up there. Now, one thing Dennis wanted me to point out was this little new button. It pops up whenever there's a new file out there, and it remains there, that little green word that says new, it remains there for 48 hours. It's just a visual flag to let you know that a document has been uploaded for the first time. But just that quickly, I had a quick upload going on. As I go to the another way to get documents uploaded is if you've clicked on a document and gotten that ribbon to come up that I talked about earlier, you'll notice that we've got several buttons. Here was that download button we just picked, but we've also got a couple others. We've got upload a document and upload multiple documents, or 2 ways to perform an upload. I'll go ahead and start this process, but it's the same process. Here you are again. You've got the browse button where you can go find a file and go ahead and do an upload, and then go from there. Now the multiple upload one, let me show you that really quickly. That's a little bit different user interface, but it'll work on only a few of the browsers out there. So it's kind of handy though. So I'll go ahead and click multiple upload, and this is a process where what you'll do is you'll drag files into there. So let me start up File Explorer, Windows Explorer actually. I'll go ahead and just kind of put it on the side over here and find some documents. How about some small documents? I'll do that. Sorry, I'll do that on this other screen over here. The fact that I'm recording this kind of slows things down a little bit. It's not me, that's just what I'm saying, you know. So I had my coffee today. Or coffee plus Mountain Dew, actually. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, let me get back to that, because I want to find out, is it the upload multiple document link, or all right, good. We can track that down. All right, so here I was demonstrating the multiple upload one, and the key is really, as I try to get all these files on there, here's a bunch of files, and if I wanted to upload a couple documents, you'd basically just select them and then drag them into that blue window. And once you do that, see they have the, they're in there. They're just waiting for you to say OK. And then once you hit OK, and then it goes ahead and uploads those things individually. So I was able to drag a whole bunch of them in there. Away they go. So it's a nice shortcut for uploading multiple documents. Now I'll go ahead and get rid of those two guys. So I will show you how to delete documents. You just check the ones you want to delete, and then here's the delete button up here. I'll go ahead and delete those guys. Now one nice thing about the delete thing is that there's a recycle bin right here. And the recycle bin is located over here. So if we click on the recycle bin after I perform the delete, and here's all the stuff that I've deleted today or within the last few days. All right, it'll stay there for 30 days at most. So let's get back to your question about that upload button. So are you saying that this button is grayed out entirely, or do you even see this button yet? Or who was asking the question about the not being able to upload? Well, I don't hear you. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm glad it's consistent. That way I'm not picking on any one person. All right. So this security training was not part of this demonstration, but you guys are going to get a little bit here. Let's take a quick look then and see what's going on. I want to go back to the folder level. This is a nice way to navigate around to the folders, by the way. We're just going to go right here. And we're going to check the permissions on this one. Oh, read. So Dennis, they're supposed to be able to upload here, right? You still on the call? Well, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be able to read all that. So, right. And it's not all us. Collaboration is a good thing. All right. Here we go. Now, once I make this change, you guys should be able to do this. By the way, you won't have to worry about making security changes, but just consider this extra credit part of the demonstration in case you ever find yourselves an opportunity to do this. All right, so now you guys have contribute access to this folder. So as you guys go in and work with the folder, do a refresh on your browser, which you can do by clicking the F5 key on your keyboard, or just clicking those two little arrows, and you should start to see buttons activated that you didn't see before. Great. So I'm glad we had this little call. Right there, we solved our first technical issue, but you saw the process. You call me, I solve it, you're happy. Try to anyway. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, we're talking about uploading documents. So I was able to upload a document, I believe, to your folder that had the reports. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. And I showed you a couple different ways to do that. I showed you how you could click the Add Document button and you could upload documents that way. And I showed you how you could get, once you click a checkbox next to a document, it brings up this ribbon. I showed you how you had these upload buttons here. You had both the multiple upload and the single upload. And this multiple upload won't show up for all browsers, as I understand. Typically Internet Explorer, it shows up great for, but sometimes in Chrome and Safari, it won't show up. So if you're not getting that and you really want it, this is the way to go. All right, there is another way to kind of work with documents that you might be more comfortable with. I don't always start with that because you do need to have Internet Explorer on your machine to even get this to work. And even then, sometimes it's problematic. But if it works, it's really fast and a very popular feature. It's Dennis's favorite way of working with documents. So we always talk about it. Now, when you're working with a document, there's a couple tabs up here. The document is short for documents, and this is libraries here. If I click on the library tab, it brings up a whole new set of buttons. I'll go ahead and do that. So the document was where we had that upload button. The library is where we have a button for all these different features. And there's a bunch of things on here. We may talk about Alert Me here in a while, but what I wanted to talk about right now was this very small button here. It's a picture of a folder with a blue monitor on it. And what that means is open with Windows Explorer. Now watch what happens when I do that. I'll go ahead and left click on that. And what it will do is open this copy of SharePoint, and it did it on a different screen. Let me drag it over so that we're using File Explorer. So here's what the documents are looking like in SharePoint. And then here's my File Explorer, the same one you use to work with files on your desktop for years now. Here's what it looks like in Windows Explorer. And so it's pretty much the same files, but now that it's in Windows Explorer, you can do all the stuff you've ever done with as you've been moving files around on Microsoft machines before. So you can grab them, you can right click on them, you can copy and paste and do all kinds of stuff like that. And it's a great way to quickly download files. So you could hit that button, grab all these files and copy, for instance, and then you could just paste those to any part of your computer that you want to download them to. So that's a great shortcut way to do it. If you've got Windows Explorer running on a Microsoft machine, you still can't get it working, there's still a few things we can do to help you with that, so let me know. We've got some documentation that tells you how to adjust some services and things like that. But just to review, it's right here in the little button there. Open with Explorer is the name of that button, right there. And pretty much photos will behave the same way, the way we're using them. You had a folder dedicated to photos right here, I believe. So that'll be the same approach. Just upload them the same way. All right. So any questions on uploading documents? Good. Let's go back to the agenda, see what we've talked about here. Next thing we'll cover is properties and creating folders. All right, so let's talk about what those properties are. Properties are just little fields of information that talk about what's in a document. As we look at some of these files that we have uploaded here, you can see that I moved them around, so you've got my name on there on the modified by and when it was modified. We have other information about that, and to get that information, a great way is just to mouse over the file and view properties. The other things we have available are we keep the date and time when who created it. So it was created right here by me too. That's because we were moving things around. But as you guys work with these files, your names will get stamped on these things, and we'll have a whole history of that. That version history I talked about was right here. I think we just have one version for this file, but when there's more versions, they'll be listed right down below number 1. It'll be listed as number 2, number 3, number 4. And you can always go back in time, in essence, and look at those files by clicking on the date and time. You'll be able to look at those previous versions. And when you do that, click on the date and time, it'll come up and it'll bring up the file just like we were starting to there. So that's a quick glance at the properties there. The other thing I wanted to show you was how to create a folder. Now, did I gain someone there or did I lose someone already? It happens. Did someone just join the call, I mean? Good, good, good. All right, so to create a folder, let's go back up to those tabs I was talking about. And here we are, we're in the resources folder. You can kind of see that by looking at the the guide up here. And if I want a new folder, that's also up there in the Document tab. It was right next to the Upload button, and here's a new folder. So you can just go ahead and click on that and give it a name. I'll just call it the demo folder and hit save. Okay, now we've got a new folder. So you guys have the ability to create new folders. I would just caution you not to don't get carried away on the number of folders that you create. You create too many folders and under subfolders and more subfolders, that can be difficult to navigate. But there they are. You can create a new folder right here if you need to. I'll go ahead and delete that folder. We do that pretty much the same way that we did the other one. It works from the mouse down menu here, or I could put a check mark by it right there and then hit the button to delete document. So there we go. All right, so we covered creating folders and properties. One more thing that I want to talk about is the file size limit. We don't, the files, it's not showing on this particular view, but we're limited to 50 megabytes. That's 50 megabytes. I don't think any of these files are approaching that, but just so that you know, if you're trying to make a big video or put together a large document with lots of pictures, look at that file size. And if it's over 50 megabytes, we're not going to be able to get it uploaded there. If it's a PDF, we use tools to split it up into different documents and things like that. So let me know, or let us know if you have any trouble working through that. So file size limit, 50 megabytes. There's also some information on not using special characters. When you make a file name, just use what we have here in terms of letters, numbers, underscores, and dashes. Don't use ampersands, parentheses, percent signs. None of those will work on SharePoint or really any web-based product. And I have another document that talks about special characters not to use. I'm just making a note to myself to send that to you, just to avoid you having to learn which special characters you can use by trial and error. So we'll send that out. All right, but as long as you get it named right and it's under 50 megabytes, you should be able to upload it. The last thing that we restrict is we don't allow you to upload any executables, exe files, or anything like that can run a program. So BAT, exe, access databases, that's about the other limitations. So just a few limitations there, but otherwise feel free to upload all the Office documents, PDFs, and images that you guys need to do. All right, so the last thing I want to cover is alerts. Now, one thing that Dennis mentioned that in the past folks have wanted to do is that when they made changes, they wanted to go ahead and tell other people about those changes. So there's a couple ways to do that. If I just uploaded a new copy of this planning document and I wanted to let you guys know about it, one thing I could do was just to mouse over again, and we're going to go to the Send To menu, and this is where I showed you we could download before, but this time we're going to select email a link. And what that will do is create an email with a link right to this document right inside it. Let me drag that over. It went ahead and popped that up over here. And so here it is. It created it in Outlook. And the nice thing about this is it's got the link right in there. This link will take you to your site, so you can recognize that, and then right to the document. And the nice thing about sending links to people instead of documents is that a link will always take you to the latest version of a document, and it won't take up any space in the email. So it's really nice and light and fast. Because when I send a link out to a document, you know, I can change that document 4 or 5 times, correcting spelling errors or something like that that I typically have to do before you even click on the link and look at it. And that's what makes a link kind of powerful in the sense that you're always going to be looking at the latest version. So it's good. And it also restricts it too. You know, that way no one will be able to get to that document that shouldn't. Maybe not a big deal for what you guys are doing, but we find it handy. And then the email, just go ahead and put in whoever you want to email it to, and away you go. So that's one way. That's really kind of a push notification where you guys tell other people about your document. Now, if you want to be notified whenever a document in this folder changes, let's say you just want to stay on top of that, what I'm going to do is go back up to the root folder here for this eScholars notebook. And let's say that I want to be notified whenever we get some more final reports in, or maybe some more photos. Let's go with that one. So my goal is to get an email whenever photos are generated, and to do that, I'm going to mouse over the photos folder, and when I drop down, I have this link called Alert Me, and that basically says send me an email when something changes. So I'll go ahead and click on that, and it'll come up to a screen that says kind of confirms that this is the user. It confirms which email this email is going to go to, and then as I scroll down, I've got a couple choices. I typically leave these two defaults the same. All changes, anything changes. I think that's pretty good. You can explore the other options if you want, but I recommend keeping those defaults the same. Now, where I do want you to consider a change is right here, because you've got two options. Most of the time, what I really want is a daily summary of everything that's changed in that folder versus an immediate notification about every item. Let's take the scenario where someone uploads 50 photos because it was a really busy day there. And if you leave on the immediate notification, you will immediately get 50 emails talking about how each photo was uploaded to this photo folder, which may be helpful, may not, may be too much email. What I'd recommend is a daily summary. And what that will do is every 24 hours, if something has changed, it will send you an email that lists inside that email every change that's been made to a file. So that I find that to be a much more popular feature, especially if you're getting a lot of emails. So click Daily Summary, and then choose a time of the day you want that summary to start, maybe 10 p.m. or 12 noon, whatever you guys want. That's when that 24-hour period or cycle begins and ends. And then you just, like 10 p.m. might work for me, I don't know. But there we go. We've got the alert set up. Now, if you get tired of your alert and you need to go turn some of those alerts off, what I'll do is just find this Alert Me button anywhere you see it. And one of the features you'll have is Manage My Alerts. And when you go into Manage Your Alerts, you're going to see all the alerts you've created. Even if you created 10 of them, they're all going to be right here. And then to turn them off, just go ahead and click on them and delete. And that'll turn off that alert so you won't get those alerts anymore. So I showed you how to set it up on a folder. If you're looking around and you need to click on a like a specific document, go back into shared documents. You can do that too. Same way I just did for these. Let's say you're following one of these final report documents, and I just want to be alerted when this new document changes here. Just mouse over it again, and you can click the Alert Me option, and then you'll get alerted. Just set it up the way I set up the folder alert, and you can get alert just when that one document changes versus an alert when anything in the folder changes. So it gives you a nice way to kind of change the scope of what you're doing there. You can focus on one document and get alerts, or you can get a copy or get an alert for the whole folder. All right, any questions on that before I just show you this last thing here? And we'll wrap this up. All right, good. So we do have a lot of other features. I wanted to show you what it looks like when you mouse over an Office document. You've got a couple extra capabilities here. You still got version history. You still have version history. But you can also edit in a browser. So if you don't have Office installed on your machine, you can still perform those edits using just your browser. It's kind of like Google Docs. And you can go in there and make those edits and changes if you need to edit it right there. Typically, I suppose you guys will be downloading documents, creating new documents, and uploading them. But I wanted to show you a couple extra features there, along with Alert Me, Email too. I think we've covered a lot of these links. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to do. Well, we didn't quite make a half an hour. It looks like 38 minutes. But are there any other questions or any final comments from Dennis before we wrap this thing up? Not even like good job on the presentation or thanks, Okay. Very good. I did forget to mention the search, by the way. If you want to search the site to find a document, you can try that. Search box. It's been having a couple of errors the last few weeks, but we should get that cleared up. But you can type in any search string in there, right here, to find documents. And also, if you're trying to find documents by a specific person, these headers work quite well too. If you're in, and you can just filter on whoever's created documents. So if you wanted to find documents modified by you or somebody else, feel free to use these headers as filters as well. A nice shortcut in terms of finding documents. I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier. All right, so one last chance for any more questions, and then we'll turn this off. Awesome, awesome. Hey, no worries then. Good. That sounds like progress, just in time. All right, that's good news. Anything else, guys? All right. Well, appreciate your attention and the good questions. Feel free to give me a call and or email me, and I'll be glad to help you out in the future.